Today, the Reapportionment Committee met again and tried to straighten things out. Lawmakers are concerned about the number of votes they'll have after the districts are redrawn. A lot of Republicans feel votes have been taken away from them, and they're angry.
Now, that's just a bunch of hogwash. We know what this is all about. It's pure political. Now, I'm sorry. If that's what it's worth, then you can take my district number and do what you want to with it, but I'll not sell it for a vote on the floor of the House under any circumstances.
I think it's unfortunate when you have a situation develop when you allow, and trying to be fair, allow members of the minority party to draw their own districts, and then for whatever reason they decide they can't support the plan.
Tensions were still high when lawmakers went into session. Charlie Ford completely ignored his new political competitor as a result of redistricting, Joan Hastings. Tensions got even higher when Representative John Monks dragged an old skeleton out of the closet and accused Representative Cleta Deathridge of being un-American because she was in an anti-war demonstration back in 1971. Well, even though personalities were on edge, they still had to vote on reapportionment. The vote was so crucial, Wiley Sparkman was even flown back in. He had left earlier this year because of his wife's ill health. And when the lawmakers finally debated the reapportionment plan, their frustrations were more evident than ever.
This plan is not fair. This plan is not right. This plan stinks to me to high heaven. And I think that we should tell the Reapportionment Committee that they've worked hard, they've done a fair job, but we think they can do a better job.
And I just ask you to stand up and act like men and women, pass this plan today. And I thank you.
I think it's easier out here. We don't have all the manpower that they have in the bigger cities. We're short on manpower and that, money to patrol and stuff like this.
How big of an area do you and your men cover?
1,200 square miles.
How many men?
4 men, counting myself.
Can 4 men possibly cover this rig and all the others in this county effectively?
No, sir. No, sir. Sure can.
The Four Seasons is a pleasant movie about friendships, how they change with time and circumstances, and how they remain the same. It is easily the most pleasant and meaningful film I have seen in a couple of years, and it is surely the best film playing for an adult audience right now. Written, directed, and starred in by Alan Alda, The Four Seasons has all the wit and wisdom of MASH, but it lacks some of the impact. It's the story of 3 couples whose relationships has weathered the years and the seasons, but one of the couples gets a divorce, and the others react.
I'm standing here bleeding. Blood is running down my leg, and we're talking about daffodils.
Because I also resent you for hurting yourself.
Oh, and that's not irrational, huh?
Do you think I like to see you so jealous of Nick that you feel you have to tackle him? You think that makes me feel good?
I think we should get to the heart of this.
The heart of this is that you wish you had some blonde nymph adoring you like he does. So go on, go find one. Christ, how long are you going to hang on to these fantasies? The reality is you're married to a middle-aged woman with a good sense of humor and dry skin. And if you don't like it, then go find yourself a nymph.
Aside from Alda and Carol Burnett, The Four Seasons stars Sandy Dennis and Lynn Carrillo, Rita Moreno and Jack Weston as the other 2 couples, and then Bess Armstrong plays the young blonde nymph who fills out the circle again after the divorce. Everything about The Four Seasons, says Alan Alda. It's sensitive, it's thought-provoking, and it's beautiful. It's a refreshing family movie for an adult audience, and Alda has taken so much care with the movie that there isn't a false note in it. Plan to see it again and again. You'll love it. For Action 4, I'm Charles Schnitzer.
Okay, everyone have their costumes.
I think you're really going to like it. If you'll come this way, I'd like to show you the view from here. And then, of course, the view from here lends itself to the outdoors.
People have pools in this area.
Yes, there are approximately being built down at the end of the street on the corner.
I leave yours.
I'd be happy to not do that. It's really cheery and bright. A lot of plants. People who live in Edmond are excited about Edmond. And we enjoy the country atmosphere, and yet we are an entity, we are a community.
There's no turning back now. The proposed Central Expressway is coming, soon to be a reality. Ever since 1976, when plans were first drawn up, people have been wondering, is the expressway going to be built or not? Well, the State Highway Department is one step closer toward construction, to start here at 36th Street off the Broadway extension.
We're actually in the design stage now. And even when a project is let to construction, that doesn't mean that the design that's been made is still cast in concrete. There are things that come up even during construction of a project that need to be changed, that just weren't anticipated when the design was done. And that's done on every highway project.
As long as they give me what I put into it, they can have it. But I'm not going to let them have it for nothing.
Pull it down, make like you're pulling it down a little.
Hail damage, or is this atypical hail damage?
This is probably, for this area of Oklahoma, it's probably a little more severe than what we're accustomed to. The size of the hail was a little bit larger. We've had reports that the hail went completely through the roof and was laying on the ceiling of people's homes. So it's been, I can't, in my own memory, recall a time when we had such hail.
Thousands of cars, like this one, got pulverized by last night's hailstorm. Now, if your car got creamed and you have comprehensive auto insurance, then it's time to get a hold of your agent to figure out just how to handle your claim.
Well, your car really took a beating, didn't it? Check this out.
What we do is, when we write our estimate, we go ahead and give them a check, a draft for the amount of the estimate, made payable to themselves and usually their lien holder, if there is a lien holder. And then, whenever they get and we also give them a copy of the estimate. When they get the car repaired, or if they go to the garage, they take the estimate, the check to the garage. If there's any difference between us and the garage contacts us and we take it out to the garage.
The way it was coming, my car.
Mark, here you go, man. I don't think you want to fix this one.
Okay, thanks a lot.
What we're buying is grain that's out of condition for some reason or another. For example, the grain we're running right now was involved in an elevator explosion in Corpus Christi, Texas. We're able to utilize grain that can't otherwise be utilized in the system. So really, what we're doing is taking a waste product that can't be used for much of anything else, converting it to a fuel that can be used by the public.
This is one of Oklahoma City's sewage treatment plants. Now, there's a proposal before the City Council right now to dump some of the sludge from this plant onto some city-owned land on Northeast 36th Street. That proposal has some Forest Park residents upset.
That can be used as fertilizer. And it's not the sewer sludge that we object to so much. We're sort of familiar with that, being surrounded by 4 sewage treatment plants. It's the lime sludge that we're fearful of. We don't know very much about it. We don't think they know very much about it. And we just don't want to be used as an experiment. Oklahoma City is spending millions. I keep telling him the way things are going, he might want to consider tennis. That you? Or?
Yeah, just be talking to me.
Okay.
When we get started here, I'm going to ask you a couple of basic questions. What your basic opposition?
A viewer writes in and says, I mailed my income tax return to the IRS without payment because I didn't have the money back then. I just received a bill for the tax I owe, and I still can't pay it. What should I do now? If I do nothing, what will happen? Well, by law, you're required to pay such a bill within 10 days after receiving the notice and demand for payment. If your tax is not paid on time, the law provides for interest and penalties for late payments. If you believe you cannot pay the full amount due, you should immediately contact the IRS and explain the problem. The IRS can help you determine the best way to pay your tax. If you do nothing, the law provides that the IRS can take action to collect the tax by seizing your property. For Action 4, this is Ray Vaughn with Legal Briefs.
What kind of group? Okay, I've got some bands and I've got some pickups coming to the luggage and try to keep the group together and don't.
In general, it appears that the storage of wheat this year will not be profitable, the prices will not rise enough to cover both the interest expense and the storage costs unless we get some big surprising increase in export demand. So for most people, I would encourage a little larger proportion of sale at harvest time than they normally do sell. If it appears that the Soviets go through a bad period of time in terms of their weather, prices could inch up a little bit. But right now, the outlook is for fairly stable prices, and that's why I would suggest to most farmers not to hold on to a lot of their wheat hoping for a big price rise this year.
The flag that I'm holding here has special historic interest, I think, for all of us. It's the Stars and Stripes. There were 15 stars and 15 stripes during the War of 1812, and this flag flew over Fort McHenry and was the inspiration to Francis Scott Key to compose the words to our present national anthem.
Okay, go! Go! Okay, now we're... Oh, God! You're laying down back there, come on! Got you, twits!
Advisors, psychologists, youth workers, people that are knowledgeable about such matters have said to us over the years, yes, there is some difference in the developing and emerging needs of young girls and young boys, and therefore our program has been designed to specifically meet the developmental needs of boys and not the developmental needs of girls. And
That string up there, it's got to run fast. It's just a minute.
You want to go show the bill one over here? You want to go show the bill one over here?
They said use long pieces. Not that long.
Left, go.
Hurry. Down, here.
Get down in there. Get it down in there deep.
Well, I did the same thing as ours. Blaine.
The wood, not the cedar.
Okay, watch out.
Start blowing it, guys. We gotta get that wood.
It's the district's position at this time that Mr. Barlow is not eligible to serve on the union's negotiating team because of his employment as executive director of the State Federation of Teachers. So therefore I explained to Mr. Renfro, the president of the local and the spokesperson for the union team, that we could not negotiate while Mr. Barlow was in the room.
School district has just decided that Mike Barlow, one of the team members, will not be on the team. The law clearly states that we have the right as the bargaining agent to select those members of the bargaining team which we want on the team. And they have arbitrarily decided that he will not be on the team. And that quite frankly disgusts us.